Okay, we're continuing with my book here, Holy Grail of Wisdom Quotes by E.P. Rogers. We're going in alphabetical order. Today we're doing John F. Kennedy. So here's the family of John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy is a young man. The family in 1931. His father, Joseph Kennedy, was a great businessman. Okay. Here's a picture of John F. Kennedy when World War II on the PT-109 torpedo boat, patrol boat. He was a lieutenant. Here he is, in his lieutenant uniform. His ship was sunk, and he saved the lives of several of his crewmen. Here he is decorated for bravery. Here he is talking to Billy Graham, the great Christian pastor. Here's JFK with his wife, Jackie. Camelot. Here's JFK in his first debate with Nixon, 1960. So JFK was a great president. Nixon was a 50-50, almost like a double agent. He took us off the gold standard. He kind of favored China for a lot of stuff. But he did do some good things too, and he wasn't a total wuss like a lot of the other ones. Here's JFK at his first inaugural address. I'll put a link to the first inaugural address. It's well worth watching. You can see what a great speaker is like. Here's LBJ. He's a communist piece of crap. But the first inaugural address is worth seeing. Here he is talking to Khrushchev. The best discussion of Khrushchev is by Sam Kinison, the comedian, saying, I hate that bastard, smacking his shoe against the table, saying he's going to bury us. Anyways, JFK talking to Khrushchev, the head of the Roochkis, back in 1961. Here's Marilyn Monroe, who had a thing for JFK. She sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President song to him. And the comedian Sam Kinison had a famous comedy routine about that. He said, JFK was my favorite president. What a life. He's in the Oval Office. He's got his finger on the button, and he's got his Johnson and Marilyn Monroe. It doesn't get any better than that. Okay, so here's a painting of JFK by the great artist Mort Kunstler. Mort Kunstler is mostly famous for illustrating the Civil War paintings. Here's JFK. He went to visit Ireland in 1963, so he did not turn his back on Ireland. Okay, and Robert Kennedy is relative now. Why don't you help out Ireland? Ireland's being Jenna. You know what comes next, the word cited. Save Ireland. Ireland, they're bussing in these illegals at night and using them military-age men to destroy the place. They're being destroyed. Same thing's happening in England and Italy, Australia, New Zealand. All these countries are being destroyed. All of Western Christendom is being destroyed. And here's the fateful day for JFK in Texas. Okay, the only thing that's going to save the world is unification around Christ. Okay, Christian ethics. Without that, it's screwed. It's going to go to slavery. It's pretty obvious. Beautiful painting here, Christ, the Bringer of Peace by John McNaughton. Okay, and JFK somewhere in this painting. All right, here's another similar painting, Christ Brings Peace by John McNaughton. That's it. We're either going to unify around Christ or we're going to be like most places have been ever since the beginning of time, slavery. Okay, and it's so obvious. It's like saying 1 + 1 = 2. Here's a couple of quotes of JFK. The ancient Greek definition of happiness was the full use of your powers along lines of excellence. And that's a little bit like James Watson. An animal is happy when it does what it's meant to do. If you feel you were meant to teach, you'll be happy when you're teaching. If you feel you were meant to be a coach, you'll be happy when you're coaching, or whatever it is. All of us do not have equal talent, but all of us should have equal opportunity to develop our talents. Things do not happen. Things are made to happen. That's another thing, too, that's one of the most important things you could get. In my experience, most people are so ignorant. They sort of think things just happen and, it's just the way it is. That's not at all true. Most things are forced to happen by the billionaire perverts up above. They've got so much money, they can make something happen. They can make a total lie happen, okay? Whereas a regular person, we don't have the ability to influence anything on a large scale. We simply can say what we have to say, and maybe somebody will listen to us. And if we're saying anything really useful, it'll probably get shadow banned. Okay, that's how it works in the real world. Okay, here's a big statement by JFK. The rights of man come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of God. And that's one of the points of all this. JFK was a Christian. Okay, JFK was an Irish American. JFK was sort of the high point of Christian power in the 1900s. And it was an attempt to sort of bring America back to greatness, okay? America had sort of been drifting down And there was a hope that America could become great again. America had screwed up after World War II and let Eastern Europe be under control of the Soviets. It had screwed up and let China fall under the power of the communists, okay? And so there was this hope with JFK that America would become great. And, the commies weren't going to allow that. JFK was bumped off. What's his name? Oswald was just a patsy. JFK was bumped off because he pissed off. Basically, the Democratic Party was divided between sort of the people who wanted freedom, the Christians, and the people who wanted communism, okay? And basically, the commies won. They killed JFK and they took over the party. They installed the communist LBJ. And you'll notice that only the good presidents get shot. JFK got shot. Ronald Reagan got shot. Ronald Reagan was a really good president too. Okay, USA was rich when Ronald Reagan was president. I remember all these old doctors talking how much they loved Ronald Reagan, how everything got better for them during those years. I remember it. Okay, I remember how rich California. Now California's become a third world crap hole. It used to be rich in the 1980s, and college was free in like the junior colleges and stuff. Okay, he continues. The high office of the president has been used to foment a plot to destroy the Americans' freedom. And before I leave office, I must inform the citizens of this plight. That's one of the reasons they were pissed off at him. He wanted to end the Federal Reserve. He wanted to make America more free, more open, more transparent. All of those things pissed off the people who wanted just the opposite. And also, this goes back a little bit to Wilmore Kendall, my last guy I did in my last speech, and he talked about how Congress should have more power. There should be more power that comes from the people than comes from solely the presidential branch that can have fiat power, okay? He says you want the people to have more say in the decisions that get made. That's one of the reasons why I showed him to you, Wilmore Kendall. Plus, he was a great writer. Okay, let's continue. Only an educated and informed people will be a free people. There is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if the traditions do not survive with it. Yeah, if freedom doesn't survive with it. The Founding Fathers wanted America to be a free Christian place. It's obvious if you go back and study them. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. Yes. That's kind of like the old saying, who will watch the watchers? All right. By Juvenal, the Roman. A group of high school juniors learning about rhetoric in English class. Oh yeah, I was walking by and they asked me a couple questions. And they said, can I give them an example of antithesis? And I said, sure. Here's one from JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And they go, oh yeah, but do you ever use that stuff in real life? And I said, yes, I use it when I talk to my wife. I say, ask not what a husband can do for you, but what you can do for your husband. Okay, JFK, united there is little we cannot do, divided there is little we can do. Okay, he was a great speaker. And he was a real smart guy. He was real literate. He read a lot. Here's just one quote from his brother, Robert Kennedy, 1925 to 1968. Each time a person stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others, they send forth a ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, these ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest of walls of oppression and resistance. Okay, so they killed Robert F. Kennedy too, all right? That was the communist branch, all right? And what happened to their nephew, the hunk, okay, in his plane? They bumped him off too, okay? They tried to bump off Ronald Reagan. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you, there's a pattern here. Use your brain. Okay, it's not a coincidence that your tap water is poisoned. It's not a coincidence that non-organic food is poisoned. It's not a coincidence that there's trails in the sky to poison your air. Do you get it? I mean, what does it take for you to get it? They don't like you. The billionaire perverts who run the world and can control what's in your water, what's in your food, what's in your air. They don't like you. So you need to know that so you at least have a chance to better navigate the world. Anyways, I hope you found this helpful.